Imagine a land where every mountain has a story, every loch hides a legend, and every island feels like stepping into another world. A place where time slows, nature dominates, and history whispers through ancient stone walls. Welcome to Scotland, a country of raw beauty, untamed wilderness, and timeless wonder. From mist-covered highlands to sparkling coastlines, from medieval castles to mystical islands, Scotland is more than a destination. It is an experience, a journey into the heart of nature and history, a place that will capture your imagination and never let go. Today, we invite you to explore Scotland like never before, to walk through its legends, breathe its wild air, and witness landscapes that will leave you breathless. This is Scotland, in all its glory. What if I told you there is a place where the world feels ancient, where the land breathes with stories older than time itself, where mist rolls over mountains like drifting spirits, and every corner holds a legend whispered by the wind? This is Scotland, a land that doesn't just show you beauty, it pulls you into a story written in stone, shaped by storms, carved by ice, and carried by the people who call this wild land home. Welcome to Scotland, a place that captures your heart long before you even realize it. As the sun rises, its soft golden light spreads across the rugged Scottish Highlands, illuminating landscapes that seem untouched by centuries. Mountains rise like sleeping giants, their peaks wrapped in mist. Valleys stretch endlessly, their green carpets glowing with the dew of early morning. Rivers wind through deep glens, their waters cold, clear, and ancient. In these first moments, Scotland doesn't just appear, it emerges. You stand at the edge of a vast highland glen, feeling the whisper of the wind against your skin. It carries the distant call of birds, the soft rustle of heather, and a silence so profound it feels sacred. The beauty here is not loud, it is powerful in its quietness. This is a land that asks you to slow down, breathe deeply, and simply exist within its greatness. And the more you look, the more Scotland reveals. To the east, the coastline glitters beneath the morning sky, rugged cliffs rising sharply from the waters of the North Sea. Waves crash against ancient rocks, sending white foam into the air, a reminder of nature's endless rhythm. Beyond these cliffs lie fishing villages where life moves with the tide, where the smell of salt and seaweed fills the air, and where old traditions still echo through narrow stone streets. Turn inland, and Scotland transforms. Rolling fields dotted with sheep lead to dense forests, alive with the softness of moss and the cool scent of pine. Sunlight filters through towering trees, creating patterns that dance on the forest floor. Here, you begin to feel the deep connection between the people and the land. A connection built on respect, hardship, and love. For centuries, the Scottish landscape has shaped the identity of its people. Strong, resilient, warm-hearted, and fiercely proud. And then, rising high above all else, the castles appear. Scotland's castles are not just buildings, they are guardians of history. Their walls have witnessed battles, celebrations, secrets, and stories that shape nations. Their stones hold the weight of kings, warriors, and legends. Some stand tall and majestic. Others rest in silent ruins. But each one carries a piece of Scotland's soul. As you walk through these ancient structures, you can almost feel the past surround you. The clanging of swords, the murmuring of long-forgotten conversations, the echo of footsteps from centuries ago. Scotland has a way of making history feel alive, not as something buried in books, but as something you can touch, breathe, and experience. But what truly makes Scotland magical isn't just the mountains, the seas, or the castles. It is the atmosphere. That unmistakable mix of raw nature, deep mystery, and timeless spirit. A place where myths and legends blend seamlessly with reality. A place where every loch holds a secret, and every glen holds a story. A place where the sound of bagpipes drifting across the hills makes your heart tighten, even if you've never heard the melody before. In this opening chapter, we begin our journey into the heart of Scotland. A journey that will take us across islands where the sky meets the sea, through cities where history and modern life walk hand in hand, and into remote wilderness where time seems to stand still. Scotland invites us not just to watch, but to feel, to imagine, to wonder. What if there was a place where every mountain felt alive, every valley carried echoes of ancient warriors, and every gust of wind sounded like a forgotten legend? A place where nature doesn't just surround you, it overwhelms you with its raw, untamed force. Welcome to the Scottish Highlands, the beating heart of Scotland, and one of the most breathtaking landscapes on Earth. The moment you step into the Highlands, you feel it, the shift in the air, the silence so deep it humbles you, the sense that you're standing inside a living cathedral made of stone and sky. Towering mountains rise like colossal guardians watching over the land. Their slopes are marked with ridges carved by glaciers. Thousands of years ago, their peaks often hidden behind swirling mists that appear and disappear like drifting spirits. This is a land shaped by time, weather, and legend. As you travel deeper, the Highlands reveal one of their greatest wonders. Glencoe. Widely known as one of the most dramatic landscapes in Scotland, Glencoe feels like stepping into another world. Steep cliffs rise on both sides, dark and powerful, their sharp edges cutting into the sky. The valley floor stretches between them, quiet and mysterious, covered in green that glows under the soft highland light. In Glencoe, the silence is profound, not empty, but full of emotion, memory, and history. Every stone, every gust of wind, seems to hold the story of the people who lived, fought, and loved here. When the clouds break and sunlight pours through, the valley transforms. Golden rays illuminate the hillsides, casting long shadows and revealing textures in the landscape that feel almost otherworldly. On rainy days, waterfalls appear like silver ribbons cascading down the cliffs, adding movement and life to the rugged scene. And when mist rolls in, you can barely see a few meters ahead, as if the Highlands are guiding you gently through their mysteries, one layer at a time. But the Highlands are not just about overwhelming mountains. They are alive with wildlife and subtle beauty. Red deer roam across open fields, their antlers silhouetted against the horizon. Golden eagles soar high above, circling the peaks with effortless grace. Heather, in shades of purple and pink, blankets the hills during late summer, turning the land into a vibrant sea of color. And then there are the lochs, dark, still, silent. Many of them stretch deep into the valleys, reflecting the mountains like giant mirrors. These lochs carry legends of creatures, warriors, and ancient spirits. In Scotland, stories are never far from the surface. Drive a little farther northwest, and the scenery becomes even more extreme. Jagged ridgelines stretch toward the horizon. Remote glens appear suddenly, hidden from the world. Weather changes in minutes, sunshine turning to rain, rain turning to fog, fog clearing into blue skies that reveal the full majesty of the mountains. The Highlands are not just a place, they are an experience. In the heart of this rugged land lies Ben Nevis, the highest mountain in the UK. Its massive presence dominates the landscape, rising sharply from the earth like a titan. For climbers, reaching its summit is a dream, but even from below, its scale is overwhelming. Clouds cling to its peak, wrapping it in mystery. The air around Ben Nevis feels charged, as if the mountain holds centuries of secrets deep within its rock. Villages scattered throughout the Highlands add life and warmth to this vast wilderness. Small stone cottages sit along winding roads, smoke rising from their chimneys during cold evenings. Pubs glow with firelight, offering shelter and stories to tired travelers. People here live closely with nature, respecting it, understanding it, surviving by its rhythms. Their traditions, passed down through generations, are shaped by the land itself. And perhaps this is what makes the Highlands so unforgettable. The feeling that you are part of something vast, ancient, and real. A place untouched by time, where the beauty is not polished or gentle, but powerful and wild. A place where you don't just look at the landscape looks back at you. The Scottish Highlands capture the imagination like nowhere else. They remind you of the strength of nature, the endurance of history, and the deep, quiet beauty of a land carved by millennia. Here, every moment feels like a scene from a legend. Every view like a painting. Every breath like stepping deeper into the soul of Scotland. Have you ever seen a place where nature looks like it's been painted by centuries of storms, silence, and pure magic? In this chapter, we journey into the Scottish Highlands, a land that doesn't just impress you, it possesses you. Every hill, every loch, every shadowed valley tells a story older than cities, older than kingdoms, older than memory itself. If Scotland had a heart, it would beat here, where wilderness and wonder collide. The Scottish Highlands stretch like a giant, untamed kingdom of rugged mountains, crumbling castles, and vast open spaces that feel endless. As you travel deeper inside this ancient landscape, you realize something powerful. This isn't just scenery. This is a world shaped by fire and ice, by warriors and poets, by legends whispered through the wind. Our journey begins at Glencoe, often called the most hauntingly beautiful valley in Scotland. Imagine steep mountains rising like stone guardians on each side, their slopes wrapped in mist, as if they're protecting secrets from another age. When the sunlight breaks through the clouds, the valley glows gold, purple, and deep green all at the same time. It feels like stepping into a movie scene, but the emotions it stirs are real. Awe, calmness, and a strange sense of belonging. As we move forward, the road winds like a thread pulled through the mountain. Every turn reveals something new. Waterfalls rushing down cliffs, lonely cottages surrounded by silent beauty, and endless stretches of moorland where the wind sings its own ancient song. This is the kind of silence that doesn't feel empty. It feels powerful. Next, we arrive at Loch Ness, one of the world's most mysterious lakes. Its deep, dark waters stretch for miles, quiet and cold, holding legends that refuse to fade. Whether you believe in the famous Loch Ness monster or not, standing by the shore gives you an eerie feeling. The surface barely moves, and the surrounding hills stand like silent witnesses to stories that have traveled across generations. And yet, despite its mystery, Loch Ness is breathtaking wide, peaceful, and mesmerizing. But the Highlands are not just natural beauty, they are history carved into the earth. Standing tall above the water is Urquhart Castle, a fortress that has seen battles, invasions, triumphs, and tragedies for over 1,000 years. Its broken towers and stone walls rise dramatically above the loch, creating a perfect blend of beauty and nostalgia. When you walk among these ruins, you don't just see history, you feel it. You imagine the soldiers who stood guard, the families who lived here, the storms that shook its walls. Now, the journey leads us deeper into the mountains toward Ben Nevis, the highest peak in the United Kingdom. Even if you don't climb it, the view of this massive mountain is humbling. It rises into the sky like a sleeping giant, commanding attention from miles away. The surrounding trails are filled with rivers, forests, and clear mountain air that makes you breathe differently. Deeper, calmer, freer. As you move through the Highlands, you notice something truly special. The land feels untouched. There are no noisy crowds, no skyscrapers, no rush. Only nature, stretching in every direction, wild and alive. You see red deer grazing in the distance, eagles gliding above the peaks, and small villages where life moves slowly and peacefully. Finally, as the sun begins to set, the highlands transform once again. The sky turns orange and pink, and the mountains turn into dark silhouettes. The light reflects off the lakes like sparks of gold floating on the surface. It's a moment that leaves you speechless, a moment you take with you long after you leave. The Scottish Highlands are more than a tourist destination. They are a reminder of how beautiful this world can be when nature is left to write its own story. What if there was a place where time slowed down, where every corner felt like a living postcard, and where the silence spoke louder than words? Welcome to the Isle of Skye, a world so magical it almost feels unreal. This island is one of Scotland's greatest wonders, wild, dramatic, ancient, and breathtaking from every angle. If the Highlands are the heart of Scotland, then Skye is its soul. As soon as you arrive, the first thing you notice is the landscape. It doesn't look ordinary, because it isn't ordinary. The Isle of Skye is shaped by volcanic forces, carved by glaciers, and decorated by the wildest weather imaginable. Clouds race across the sky at incredible speed. Sunlight breaks through the mist in glowing beams, and rainbows appear and disappear like illusions. This is nature performing its own theater, and you are sitting in the front row. We begin our journey at the Old Man of Storr, one of the most iconic rock formations in the world. Tall, sharp, and unbelievably dramatic, the Storr rises like a stone tower reaching for the clouds. As you hike closer, the landscape opens up into sweeping views of the sea, the lakes, and the rolling hills. The wind whistles through the rocks. The air smells like fresh rain. Everything around you feels ancient, as if these stones have been guarding Skye for thousands of years. The next stop is the Quirine, a place that looks so surreal it could belong to a fantasy movie. Picture cliffs twisted into impossible shapes, green slopes that look like velvet, and giant rock towers standing like forgotten monuments. Walking here feels like wandering across another planet, where every step leads you to a view more stunning than the last. This is the kind of scenery that stays in your memory forever, even after you leave. From here, the road winds toward the Fairy Glen, a small valley shaped like a miniature wonderland. Circular hills spiral upward. Strange rock formations rise from the grass, and spirals of stones lie scattered on the ground. Locals call it a fairy landscape, and when you look around, you can understand why. It feels peaceful, mysterious, and slightly unreal, like stepping into a myth whispered by old storytellers. But Skye is not just land and legends. It is also home to some of Scotland's most powerful waterfalls. One of the island's most unforgettable sights is the fairy pools, a series of clear blue-green pools fed by waterfalls tumbling down from the Black Quillan Mountains. The water is icy cold, but the view is pure magic. The pools shine like glass under the sun, reflecting the mountains above like a perfect mirror. This is one of the most photographed places in Scotland, and standing here, you understand why. Speaking of mountains, the Quillan Range is another highlight of the island. These are not gentle hills, they are sharp, dark, and intimidating peaks that look like something forged by fire. Even from a distance, the Quillans command respect. On clear days, the jagged skyline cuts through the sky like a giant crown. For climbers, this is one of the most challenging ranges in the UK. For visitors, it's a breathtaking view from every angle. Now the journey leads us to the coastline, where the power of the sea meets the strength of the cliffs. At Kilt Rock and Milt Falls, you stand on a cliff edge overlooking the ocean. The cliffs rise in vertical columns, shaped like the folds of a Scottish kilt. And right beside them, a waterfall drops straight into the sea, creating a sight found nowhere else in the world. The wind here is strong. The waves roar, and the air feels charged with energy. As sunset approaches, we arrive at Nice Point Lighthouse, one of the most spectacular viewpoints in Scotland. Perched on the edge of a cliff, the lighthouse watches over the endless horizon where the sea meets the sky. As the sun goes down, the ocean turns orange, the cliffs turn golden, and the wind carries the deep, calming rhythm of the waves. It is one of those rare moments when you feel completely present, completely alive. The Isle of Skye is more than a destination. It is a world of wonder, a place where nature speaks loudly and beautifully, and where the landscape tells stories just as powerful as history itself. From its rocky peaks to its quiet glens, from its roaring waterfalls to its peaceful coastlines, Skye captures your heart in ways you never expect. Imagine walking through a place where every stone has witnessed 1,000 years, where echoes of kings, warriors, and ancient clans still linger in the air. A place where the past doesn't just exist in textbooks, it stands tall before your eyes. Welcome to Edinburgh, the historic heart of Scotland, a city that blends mystery, beauty, and timeless charm like nowhere else on earth. The moment you set foot in Edinburgh, you feel something different. It's more than a city, it's an atmosphere. Narrow cobblestone streets rise and fall like waves. Medieval buildings tower overhead, and the distant silhouette of a castle crowns the landscape like a guardian watching from above. This is a place where you don't just visit history, you walk through it. Our journey begins with the city's greatest icon, Edinburgh Castle. Perched on top of an ancient volcanic rock, it dominates the skyline, visible from almost every corner of the city. For centuries, this fortress served as the seat of Scottish royalty, home to kings, queens, and some of the most dramatic events in the nation's history. Standing at the entrance, you feel the weight of centuries. The wind rushes through the battlements. The view stretches far across the city. Inside, the old stone rooms echo stories of battles, coronations, and secrets that shaped Scotland forever. From here, we follow the legendary Royal Mile, the ancient road that connects the castle to the Palace of Holyrood House. Every step along the Royal Mile feels like stepping through a different chapter of time. Shops filled with tartan, street performers playing bagpipes, old clock towers rising above the rooftops, and historic closes, small alleyways that drop sharply into the unknown. Each close has its own story, its own atmosphere, its own mystery. One of the most fascinating stops is St. Giles Cathedral, known as the High Kirk of Edinburgh. Its crown-shaped spire rises like a symbol of the city's soul. Inside, the light shines through stained glass windows, casting colors across the ancient stone walls. The silence feels sacred, almost ethereal. The cathedral has stood here since the 14th century, surviving wars, revolutions, and centuries of change. But Edinburgh isn't just history, it's a city of legends, and nowhere is this more vivid than beneath the streets. Hidden under the city lies Mary King's Close, a forgotten world of old homes and alleyways sealed off long ago. Walking through these underground chambers feels like entering a time capsule. The dim light, the cold stone walls, the quiet air, it's as if the past has been frozen, waiting for you to discover it. Back above ground, the landscape shifts dramatically as we enter Calton Hill, one of the best viewpoints in all of Scotland. Here, classical monuments stand against the sky, giving Edinburgh a unique, almost ancient Greek silhouette. The wind is strong at the top, carrying the sounds of the city far below. This is where you see the full story of Edinburgh, at once the old town's medieval layout, the new town's elegant Georgian streets, and the endless sea stretching toward the horizon. Speaking of the sea, Edinburgh's connection to the water is deeper than many realize. Just north of the city lies Leith, a historic port that has transformed into one of the most vibrant areas in Scotland. Once busy with trading ships, Leith is now filled with waterfront cafes, art spaces, and the majestic royal yacht Britannia. This ship once carried the British royal family around the world, and today it stands as a floating museum, perfectly preserved. As The day continues. We head toward the city's great natural landmark, Arthur's Seat. Rising dramatically above the city, this ancient volcano offers one of the most breathtaking views in all of Scotland. The hike is steep, but every step is worth it. When you reach the summit, the entire city stretches out beneath you. The castle, the sea, the distant Highlands, all glowing in the shifting Scottish light. It's a moment of stillness, of clarity, that connects you to something timeless. Evenings in Edinburgh are a different kind of magic. The city lights illuminate the old stone buildings, giving the streets a warm, golden glow. Musicians play soft melodies in the distance. Restaurants spill warm light onto the cobblestones, and the cool night air carries the scent of history. This is a city that doesn't just look beautiful, it feels alive. Edinburgh is more than its landmarks. It's a story, one written in stone, in legends, in landscapes, and in the spirit of the people who call it home. It's a place where the ancient and the modern walk side by side, where every corner invites you to pause, look closer, and imagine the world that once was. What if I told you that some of Scotland's greatest mysteries lie hidden in quiet waters, surrounded by towering mountains and forests older than memory? What if I told you there is a place where legends breathe, where the line between myth and reality almost disappears? Welcome to the world of Scotland's legendary lochs, where every ripple hides a story and every shadow feels alive. Our journey begins with the most famous of them all, Loch Ness, a name recognized across the globe. From the moment you arrive, you understand why this place became a legend. The water is dark, deep, and impossibly calm. Mist drifts across the surface like slow-moving spirits, and the surrounding hills reflect perfectly in the still water. Loch Ness is one of the deepest lakes in the world, plunging to mysterious depths where sunlight cannot reach. Standing on its shore, you feel a strange mixture of peace and curiosity. No wonder the legend of the Loch Ness monster captured so many imaginations. As you travel along the water, the ruins of Urquhart Castle rise on the horizon. Perched on a rocky promontory, the broken towers stand against the sky like ancient guardians. Once a powerful fortress, Urquhart has witnessed wars, invasions, and centuries of change. Today, it watches over the lake in silence. From its walls, you get one of the most breathtaking views in Scotland, the endless stretch of dark water disappearing into the distance. With the wind brushing against the ancient stone, you can almost feel the presence of all the stories this place holds. Leaving Loch Ness, our journey continues toward Loch Lomond, one of Scotland's most beloved natural treasures. As the largest freshwater lake in the UK, Loch Lomond is a world of beauty, all on its own. The scenery transitions from wild mountains to gentle rolling hills, creating a sense of harmony and balance. The water sparkles under the sunlight, birds glide gracefully across the surface, and quiet forests stretch out along the shoreline. Loch Lomond is a place where people come to breathe, rest, and reconnect with nature. Scattered across the lake are more than 30 islands, each one holding its own secrets. Some are covered in ancient woods, some shelter rare wildlife, and others are tiny, untouched worlds of pure silence. One of the most intriguing is Inchcayak, an island whose name means Island of the Old Woman, linked to early Scottish saints and ancient traditions. Walking through its forests feels like entering a forgotten sanctuary, where every leaf and stone carries a whisper of something old. But the Highland lochs aren't just calm and peaceful, they can also be dramatic and powerful. Now we head north toward Loch Maree, one of Scotland's most unspoiled natural wonders. Surrounded by rugged mountains and untouched forests, Loch Maree feels wild and sacred. In the center lies a group of islands that hold ancient graves, Celtic ruins, and deep spiritual history. The water here is so clear, it mirrors the sky perfectly, turning the lake into a vast, shimmering glass. Many describe Loch Mary as the most beautiful loch in Scotland, untouched, pure, and deeply atmospheric. As we journey deeper into the Highlands, the landscape shifts again. We arrive at the haunting and beautiful Loch Shiel, a long stretch of water framed by steep mountains that seem to rise straight out of the lake. This is a place of heroes and legends. The iconic Glenfinnan Monument stands proudly at the northern end of the loch, marking the site where Prince Charles Edward Stuart, known as Bonnie Prince Charlie, raised his standard and began the Jacobite uprising. The silent hills surrounding the loch give the feeling of stepping back into a moment suspended in time. Just beyond, the Glenfinnan Viaduct stretches across the valley, famous around the world for appearing in the Harry Potter films. Watching a train pass over this great stone bridge is a magical sight, blending engineering, history, and pure cinematic beauty. The viaduct curves gracefully above the land, offering a view that feels almost unreal. Scotland's lochs are not merely stretches of water, they are emotional landscapes. They reflect the mood of the sky, shifting constantly from bright silver to deep blue to stormy gray. They can be calm one moment and wild the next. They hold stories of ancient clans, warriors, saints, and legends that shape the identity of the nation. Our final stop in this chapter is Loch Katrine, a lake celebrated in poetry, literature, and folklore. Surrounded by lush hills and shimmering reflections, this loch inspired Sir Walter Scott's famous poem, The Lady of the Lake. Even today, the setting feels poetic. A steamship glides peacefully across the water. Mountains rise softly in the distance, and the air carries the scent of pine and fresh Highland wind. It is a place that soothes the heart and awakens the imagination. The lochs of Scotland are more than destinations. They are mirrors reflecting not only the sky but also the soul of the land. Every loch has a personality, a story, a quiet magic that pulls you closer. And as we continue our journey through Scotland, we discover that the deeper you explore, the more this country reveals its wonders. What if there was a place where mountains didn't just rise from the earth, but seemed to leap into the sky with raw, fierce power? A place where the world feels bigger, wilder, and more alive than anything you've ever imagined? Welcome to the Scottish Highlands, one of the most dramatic and emotionally powerful landscapes on the planet. From the moment you enter the Highlands, something inside you shifts. The roads narrow, the air cools, and the scenery becomes a breathtaking story written in stone, wind, and time. Here, the land is not just beautiful, it is bold, untamed, and unforgettable. Our journey begins in one of Scotland's most iconic regions, Glencoe. Known as the Valley of Weeping, Glencoe is a masterpiece of nature. Towering mountains rise almost vertically from the ground. Cliffs cut through the sky like giant blades, and waterfalls tumble down from hidden heights. The glen stretches far into the distance, glowing gold during sunrise and turning deep blue as evening falls. Walking here feels like being inside a painting. Every angle reveals a view so perfect that it hardly seems real. Glencoe is also a place filled with powerful history. The silence carries stories of ancient clans, triumph, tragedy, and resilience. As you move through the valley, the wind seems to whisper old tales across the slopes. You feel connected not only to the landscape but to the generations who once called this place home. Traveling deeper into the Highlands, we reach a land shaped by epic forces. Ben Nevis, the tallest mountain in the United Kingdom. Its massive silhouette dominates the skyline of Fort William. Even from a distance, Ben Nevis feels monumental, sharp ridges, dramatic rock faces, and slopes that disappear into swirling clouds. Many adventurers challenge themselves to reach the summit, climbing through shifting weather and rugged terrain. But even from the base, the mountain's presence is overwhelming. It stands as a symbol of Scotland's raw, elemental power. From here, The road winds into one of the Highlands' most secret and hauntingly beautiful regions, the Cairngorms. This national park is the largest in the UK, a vast wilderness of ancient forests, shimmering lakes, and snow-dusted peaks. Some of the trees here have stood for hundreds of years, surviving storms and seasons. Red deer roam the hillsides, golden eagles circle above, and the peaceful silence is broken only by the soft rustle of the wind through the pines. In the heart of the Cairngorms lies Loch Morlich, a lake surrounded by sandy shores, something rarely seen in a mountain landscape. The water glows like polished glass, reflecting the Cairngorm peaks in flawless detail. When the mist drifts across the lake, it feels as though the mountains are floating, suspended between water and sky. For many visitors, this is one of the most magical moments in the Highlands. Further north, the landscape transforms again as we journey toward Torridon, one of the oldest geological formations in the world. The mountains here are ancient, more than 800 million years old. Their slopes are steep, rugged, and dramatic, rising abruptly from the ground like colossal stone guardians. Torridon is a place that leaves you breathless, not only for its beauty but for its overwhelming sense of age and permanence. When you stand here, you are standing inside Earth's deep history. From Torridon, the route leads us to the untouched beauty of Wester Ross, one of the most isolated and peaceful areas in Scotland. The roads twist through wild moorlands, silent lochs, and tiny villages surrounded by endless views. The pace of life slows, allowing you to fully absorb the grandeur of the land. Sunlight filters through the clouds in glowing beams, illuminating parts of the landscape like scenes from a dream. As we travel through this vast wilderness, it becomes clear why the Highlands have inspired poetry, music, and legend for centuries. This land awakens something deep inside, a sense of adventure, reflection, and connection to something far older and greater than ourselves. Our next stop takes us to a place of cinematic beauty, Donan Castle, one of the most photographed castles in the world. Perched on a tiny island where 3 sea lochs meet, the castle stands against a backdrop of the rugged Highlands. Surrounded by water and mountains, it looks like a fortress pulled straight from a medieval epic. As the sun sets, the castle lights up in a warm, golden glow, reflecting beautifully on the still water below. The Highlands are a land of contrasts, harsh yet gentle, wild yet peaceful, ancient yet alive. They remind us of the power of nature and the quiet strength of landscapes untouched by time. Every mountain peak, every winding road, every gust of wind tells its own story. What if I told you that some of Scotland's greatest treasures aren't found on land at all, but lie scattered across the sea, hidden among waves, cliffs, and ancient shorelines? What if I told you that Scotland's islands feel like entire worlds of their own worlds, where time slows down, traditions stay alive, and nature shows its wildest, purest face? Welcome to Scotland's magical islands, a realm where history, culture, and raw beauty collide in breathtaking harmony. Our journey begins with one of the most enchanting archipelagos on Earth, the Isle of Mull and the legendary Isle of Iona. Mull is a masterpiece of rugged coastlines, dramatic cliffs, and mist-covered mountains. As the ferry approaches Craignier, you feel the world transform. The air becomes cleaner, the light softer, and the silence deeper. On the island, colorful houses line the shore of Tobermory, their reflections shimmering in the water like strokes of paint on a mirror. Mull is full of wildlife: eagles soaring high, otters playing in sparkling bays, and red deer wandering through quiet hills. Everything here feels alive, untouched, and deeply peaceful. Just off Mull lies the small but powerful Isle of Iona, a place famous for its spiritual history. People have traveled here for centuries, seeking peace, clarity, and inspiration. The island is tiny, but its presence is enormous. Iona Abbey, with its white stone walls and simple beauty, stands as one of the most important religious sites in Scotland. Walking along Iona's beaches where turquoise waves meet pure white sand, you feel a sense of calm that is rare and unforgettable. It is a place where the world seems to pause. From here, we journey north to one of Scotland's brightest gems, the Isle of Harris and Lewis in the Outer Hebrides. Though joined as one island, the two regions feel like different planets. Lewis is a land of ancient history, where the Callanish standing stones rise from the earth like a silent circle of guardians. Older than the pyramids, these stones have stood here for nearly 5,000 years. As the wind sweeps through them, you can almost feel the energy of the past. It is a place where mystery becomes real. Harris, on the other hand, is pure paradise. The beaches here, Luskentyre, Silabost, Scarista, look like they were taken from a tropical island. White sand stretches endlessly, and crystal clear water glows with shades of turquoise and blue that seem impossible for the North Atlantic. The hills surrounding these beaches rise in soft, gentle curves, creating a landscape so peaceful that it feels like a dream. Harris is also the birthplace of the world-famous Harris tweed, hand-woven by skilled craftsmen using age-old techniques passed down through families. But the islands aren't just about tranquility, they also reveal Scotland's wild, powerful side. Now we travel to the Isle of Jura, known for its untamed landscapes and rugged isolation. Jura is dominated by the Paps of Jura, three steep mountains that rise dramatically from the earth. They are raw, ancient, and commanding. Only a small community lives on the island, surrounded by deer, rocky shores, and sweeping moorland. Jura is a place for explorers, those who seek nature in its most primal form. Next, we head to a land shaped by fire and time, the Isle of Arran, often called Scotland in miniature. Here, you find everything mountains, forests, beaches, and ancient stone circles. The towering peak of Goatfell stands like a king over the island, offering some of the most spectacular views in Scotland. Arran's landscape shifts rapidly from peaceful glens to rugged ridges, from soft shorelines to dramatic cliffs. It's a perfect reflection of Scotland itself, diverse, powerful, and endlessly beautiful. But no journey through Scotland's islands would be complete without visiting the mystical Orkney Islands, a place where history runs deeper than almost anywhere in Europe. Here lies Skara Brae, a stone village older than Stonehenge, perfectly preserved in the sands. Walking through these ancient homes is like stepping directly into the world of people who lived more than 5,000 years ago. The air feels heavy with time, with stories lost and stories remembered. Orkney is also home to towering sea cliffs, roaring winds, and some of the most dramatic coastal scenery in Britain. Our final island destination takes us even farther north, to the remote and powerful Shetland Islands. Here, the ocean rules everything. Waves crash against massive cliffs, seabirds fill the sky in dizzying numbers, and the wind carries the wild song of the North Atlantic. Shetland is a place of Viking history, ancient traditions, and landscapes that feel untouched by the modern world. The cliffs of Ness, shaped by volcanic fire and relentless waves, show the true power of nature on full display. Each island in Scotland has its own soul, some calm, some wild, some ancient, some vibrant with daily life. Together, they create a mosaic of landscapes and cultures, unmatched anywhere else on Earth. They remind us how diverse and magical Scotland truly is. What if the most powerful stories of survival weren't written in books, carved on stones, or preserved in museums, but hidden in the silent, untouched corners of the world? Places where time does not move, where the wind carries memories older than civilization, and where every rock whispers the tale of a people who refuse to disappear. This chapter takes you to one of those rare places, a world frozen between mystery and endurance, where humanity's oldest battles against nature are silently recorded. far from modern cities and far from the noise of the present day. There are landscapes so harsh that survival feels impossible. Yet for thousands of years, humans adapted here, not just surviving, but creating traditions, carving symbols, and building small societies that somehow held together against impossible odds. In this chapter, we explore how these forgotten groups mastered survival through intelligence rather than resources, through community rather than strength, and through resilience rather than comfort. The terrain surrounding them was unforgiving dry cliffs, unstable pathways, fierce winds that could erase footprints within minutes, and nights so cold that fire became more valuable than gold. And yet, archaeological evidence shows that families lived here, raised children here, and passed their knowledge across countless generations. Their shelters were simple but intelligently designed, positioned against cliffs to block wind, angled precisely to catch sunlight, and reinforced with whatever natural materials the land allowed. They didn't have cities, but they had wisdom, the kind that comes from being face to face with nature every single day. Food was scarce, and hunting demanded patience, precision, and deep understanding of animal behavior. They studied migration patterns, the movement of shadows, even the silence of the environment to predict danger. Their survival wasn't based on strength, but on reading the world like a map. It was a skill that took a lifetime to perfect, and one mistake could cost everything. But they learned, they adapted, they passed on strategies through stories told around fires, through drawings on rock walls, and through rituals that marked season changes. Water, the rarest treasure of all, shaped their entire way of life. They discovered hidden springs, monitored moisture in the soil, and developed methods to store and protect water like it was sacred. Even today, scientists study these techniques to understand how ancient groups predicted rainfall and preserved water long before modern tools existed. Their knowledge wasn't written down, it was lived, practiced, memorized, and safeguarded within their communities. What makes this chapter even more fascinating is how these people preserved unity despite their environment. Cooperation wasn't optional, it was essential. Every person had a role: gatherers, watchers, tool makers, storytellers. Their survival depended on working as one, and this created a bond so strong that even the harsh landscape couldn't break it. Their social structure was simple, but it worked because every individual understood the value of contribution. No one survived alone. Everyone survived together. As we uncover these ancient footprints, we also uncover something deeply human: the desire to preserve identity, even when the world turns hostile. These people left behind subtle marks, symbols carved into rocks, patterns painted with natural pigments, and artifacts buried carefully in the earth. Each of these pieces tells a story of perseverance. They wanted the world to remember them. They wanted their struggle, their strength, and their victories to echo across time. And today, when the modern world feels fast, overwhelming, and unpredictable, their story serves as a reminder that humanity has always been capable of surviving difficulty, not because of technology, but because of resilience. These ancient groups may have vanished, but their legacy continues to inspire. Their story proves that survival isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about facing them with courage, unity, and wisdom. As we close this chapter, imagine this: the same winds that touched their faces thousands of years ago still flow through those empty landscapes today. Their echoes remain, their lessons remain. Their strength still lives among the stones, waiting for us to listen. What if the most unforgettable journeys weren't just about the places you visit, but about the stories those places tell? What if a land could speak, not with words, but with mountains, rivers, castles, and lochs, revealing secrets of time, resilience, and beauty? Scotland is that land, and in this final chapter, we bring together all the wonders we have explored, from its misty highlands to its mystical islands, from its historic cities to its wildest, most untamed corners. As the sun rises over the Scottish Highlands, golden light spills across jagged peaks and deep valleys. The mountains, silent witnesses to centuries of history, glow like they are alive. Every glen carries whispers of clans who fought and lived here. Every loch holds legends that refuse to be forgotten, and every path seems to beckon travelers deeper into the heart of the land. The Highlands are not just a place to see, they are a place to feel. They remind us that nature is powerful, patient, and eternal. Our journey takes us once more to the iconic Loch Ness, its waters dark and mysterious, reflecting the sky and mountains like a vast mirror. The castle ruins of Urquhart rise above the loch, reminding us that history is never far away. Even the wind seems to carry the stories of battles fought, of love lost and won, of ordinary people surviving extraordinary circumstances. Standing here, it's impossible not to feel the depth of Scotland's soul. Moving from the Highlands to the cities, Edinburgh emerges once more, a crown jewel of human ingenuity and culture. The castle dominates the skyline. The Royal Mile hums with life, and Arthur's Seat watches silently over the city below. Edinburgh is a place where past and present coexist seamlessly. Cobblestone streets tell stories older than many nations, while bustling cafes, festivals, and art scenes bring energy that feels vibrantly alive. It's a city that captivates the mind as much as the eyes. Then there are the islands Skye, Harris, Lewis, Mull, and Iona, where nature and legend entwine. On Skye, the old man of Storr stands like a sentinel, guarding cliffs that drop sharply to sea below. The fairy pools shimmer in crystal blues, inviting dreamlike wonder. Harris's beaches stretch endlessly, golden sand glowing under ever-changing light, while Callanish standing stones on Lewis whisper secrets older than history itself. These islands are places where the imagination soars, where the impossible seems possible, and where the soul finds both peace and inspiration. Scotland's lochs, mountains, and islands are more than scenic wonders, they are mirrors. They reflect the strength, resilience, and creativity of the people who have lived here for thousands of years. They teach us lessons about patience, endurance, and the ability to thrive even in the harshest conditions. The same winds that shape the land shape the people, and together they form a narrative of perseverance and beauty. As the day fades, we witness Scotland's coastline transform under the setting sun. Waves crash against cliffs carved by millennia. Seabirds glide gracefully across the skies, and the smell of the ocean fills the air. Here, the raw power of nature is at its most awe-inspiring. Lighthouses stand as guardians of the shore, reminding us that, while the world changes, some things remain steadfast, enduring storms and time with quiet strength. At last, as twilight descends, the country glows under the soft light of the setting sun. The mountains, the cities, the lochs, and the islands merge into a mosaic of wonder. The wind carries the sounds of bagpipes from distant hills, echoing across valleys and over water. Scotland is a land that lingers in memory, not just for its landscapes, but for the emotions it awakens, the sense of awe, of history, of timelessness, and of belonging to something larger than oneself. As our journey comes to a close, it's clear that Scotland is more than a destination. It is a story, a feeling, a living, breathing masterpiece. From the highest peaks to the smallest islands, from ancient stone circles to bustling city streets, it is a land of contrasts, wild and gentle, old and alive, mysterious and welcoming, and it leaves an imprint, one that stays with every traveler who ventures into its heart. Scotland reminds us that beauty is not always quiet, and history is not always still. It is a country that challenges, inspires, and transforms. And even after we leave, its mountains, lochs, islands, and people continue to tell their story, a story of endurance, magic, and timeless wonder. As night falls over this extraordinary land, the stars emerge over the highlands and islands, illuminating a world as ancient as it is alive. And in that light, Scotland whispers one final invitation. Explore, wonder, and let your heart carry the magic of this remarkable country forever. As the night begins to fall over Scotland, a different kind of magic takes over. The landscapes, once alive with the movement of wind and water, now seem to hold their breath, bathed in the soft glow of twilight. The Highlands take on a mysterious, almost spiritual quality. Shadows stretch across the valleys, mountains loom like silent giants, and the lochs mirror the sky, reflecting clouds tinged with the colors of sunset. In these final moments of day, Scotland reveals itself not just as a land of beauty, but as a keeper of secrets, of memories etched into rock and water for centuries. The islands, too, transform. On Skye, mist rises from the fairy pools and drifts over the Queen peaks, creating a scene that seems suspended between reality and a dream. Harris and Lewis are quiet, save for the distant calls of seabirds and the soft lapping of waves along pristine beaches. The Callanish stones glow faintly under the fading light, appearing more enigmatic than ever, silent witnesses to rituals, prayers, and lives long gone. Each island is a story unto itself, a world untouched by time, where nature and legend coexist in perfect harmony. Even the cities of Scotland change character under the night sky. Edinburgh's skyline, dominated by the castle, becomes a silhouette of history. Street lamps flicker along the Royal Mile, casting warm golden pools of light on cobblestones. The city hums softly with life. The distant murmur of pubs, the soft music of buskers, and the laughter of those wandering the streets. By night, Edinburgh reveals its dual nature, a city of history and legend, yet alive with the rhythm of the present, where stories of the past mingle with everyday life. The coastline, stretching from the remote northern isles to the dramatic cliffs of the west, is even more spectacular as darkness falls. Waves crash relentlessly against jagged rocks, creating a rhythm as ancient as the land itself. Lighthouses cast beams across the waters, cutting through mist and shadow, guiding travelers as they have done for centuries. It is along these edges of Scotland that one truly senses the power and mystery of this land, where the forces of nature, past and present, meet in a continuous dance. Scotland is also a place of contrasts that emerge vividly at night. Remote glens remain untouched, cloaked in silence, while towns and villages glow with warmth, their lights reflecting off lochs and cobblestones. Mountain peaks disappear into clouds, yet the stars above reveal the vastness of the sky. The country balances the wild and the calm, the old and the living, the mystical and the real, and it does so effortlessly. For travelers, these quiet moments bring reflection. Standing on a hilltop, overlooking a loch, or walking along a deserted beach, one can feel the enormity of the landscapes, the depth of history, and the presence of countless generations who have walked these lands before. It is humbling, inspiring, and profoundly moving. Scotland, in these moments, becomes more than a destination. It becomes a companion, a storyteller, and a guide through wonder and memory. And yet, even as night fully descends, Scotland promises that its story is never complete. Every morning brings new light over peaks, new reflections on lochs, new discoveries on islands, and new experiences in its cities. The land shifts, changes, and renews itself constantly, inviting each visitor to return, to explore further, and to discover what they may have missed before. There is always more to see, more to feel, and more to understand. As the stars shimmer over the highlands and islands, over castles and lochs, over cliffs and forests, one thing becomes clear. Scotland is a place of endurance, of timeless beauty, and of mystery. It is a land that challenges perception, captivates imagination, and leaves an imprint on the heart. Those who journey here do not simply take photographs, they carry stories, emotions, and memories that linger long after they have left. In the stillness of night, the land seems to whisper, "You may leave, but you are never gone. My mountains, my lochs, my islands, and my stories remain with you, always." And as we listen, it becomes evident why Scotland has inspired poets, artists, explorers, and dreamers for centuries. It is more than a country. It is a living, breathing masterpiece that continues to inspire poets, artists, explorers, and dreamers for centuries. It is more than a country. It is a living, breathing masterpiece that continues to inspire awe, wonder, and connection. Scotland's final chapter is not the end, but a beginning, a reminder that some places are eternal, some stories never fade, and some experiences leave marks that last a lifetime. From the soaring peaks of the Highlands to the quiet shores of its islands, from the cobbled streets of ancient cities to the wild expanses of its remote glens, Scotland remains, in every sense, a wonder beyond words. As the sun sets over the Highlands, painting mountains and lochs in golden light, we realize that Scotland is more than just scenery. It is a story, alive and enduring. From the ancient streets of Edinburgh to the mystical islands of the Outer Hebrides, from roaring waves against jagged cliffs to the serene reflections of hidden lochs, every corner of this land tells a tale of resilience, beauty, and timeless wonder. Scotland is a place that stays with you long after you leave, in your memories, your imagination, and your heart. Its mountains, its waters, its legends, and its spirit remain eternal. And as night falls over this extraordinary land, we leave with one truth. Scotland is not just to be seen, it is to be felt, experienced, and remembered forever. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels, and see you in the next video.